All right. Post game. Let's get it. All right. So how y'all feeling about the dub, man? We gonna start with you, Coach. Let's get it.
Oh man, always good to get a victory, man. Um, wasn't the best play, but I think it was a very good football game. A lot of good hits out there. I think the guys put a good effort, man. Wasn't the cleanest thing. Wasn't always pretty, but we eked out another victory. We won the game, and that's basically all we can say. We won the game, and we move on to the next one.
A.M.P, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Hey, it's a dub. I celebrate it just like I will any other dub, man. Look, Cowboys win, Cowboys win. Yes, I know it does not have the promising, fulfilling playoffs behind it, but hey, guess what? Your team is getting better. Your depth is getting better. And that's what we have to look forward to. Because guess what? Contrary to popular belief, you aren't going to have a completely new team next year. Like, there are guys who are on the field this game that'll be here next year.
Right.
So guess what? We got to get used to them. So let's continue to get used to them. Let's learn them. Let's understand their strengths and their weaknesses. Let's help them get stronger, and let's help them remove those things that hinder them from being a championship caliber team.
Right. I feel really good about this win. The main reason I feel super good about this win because we was going against a team that was hungry, that needed this win more than we did. And we obviously still banged up. And I felt that this was going to be one of our final tests in terms of a team that I knew was going to test our DTs. And I would say that Zimmer early in the year didn't pass the test when the run game was tested and when our DTs was tested. But I think these guys are showing great improvement under him, and that makes me very excited. So the fact that we pulled out this dub, a dub that we didn't need and a dub that they needed, that just gives me tremendous confidence in the future. And so this particular stream, as we break down the post game, is brought to you by BitUS, where you get 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% of your next two deposits up to 2,000, promo code YouTube 150. So let's kind of get into it and break it down little by little. And let's just get into the nitty gritty. What does this mean for the future of Mike McCarthy? Amp.
So it means he still has a future in coaching if he wants one. But it means to me, from what I've seen, that his days as a play caller may be limited.
Yeah.
It's tragic when I look at the box score and I see 20 rush attempts for 31 yards.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Especially when you've seen what Rico can do. The fact that we got him going over the last 3 games, that just can't happen. That can't occur. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if it was the lack of continuity with the line because you were constantly switching guys out. But then I think we've done that before this season, so it hadn't been an issue before, so why now? But yeah, I can't wait to look at the film for that one to see just really how they stuffed us on the run. But Mike Zimmer, sir, I did a video, y'all go check it out on my channel. It's talking about Mike Zimmer being the old dog with new tricks. This game, he pulled it out, and for a team that has been pretty explosive 2 types of ways, he pretty much kept everything under wraps. And honestly, to me, he's the reason that your team won this game because the defense carried this team.
He was the reason, straight up. Coach, what does it mean? What does this win mean for Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys?
I mean, it means that they're still playing football, man. And I think I think Parsons said something said something a couple days ago. Guys are playing hard because you got guys out there playing for the futures, man. Guys playing for contracts. Guys on 1-year contracts trying to play for just to play because they love football. And then you got some guys trying to play to get in a situation to be to get other contracts. And I think Mike McCarthy, some stuff he's still not making the game. It's easier for the guys to win, but I think guys are making plays. But I also said, when I want to piggyback on what somebody said about this is Zimmer will tell you, as any coach will tell you, man, is that, hey, man, I made some calls, I put something in there, but it's the players are playing better in the system. They're playing better because I can make the calls. I might have been making these same calls 5 weeks ago, and they just ain't, but they was not executing it. So they, sometimes yes, you can get some of the credit. Coach can get some of the credit, but really the coach really gets credit of setting the mentality of a player to be able to get themselves together and to be accountable and to work through adversity. Because I'm going to look like a genius because I call these plays and everybody going to say, well, Zimmer got this people. Bland made a great play. Zimmer probably had nothing to do with Bland making that play. Having the instincts to script that ball out. So I think Zimmer's got these guys to do the small things right.
Yeah.
And being accountable. But these guys are playing better. They're playing better as a team. So let's give some credit to Zimmer, but let's give a lot of credit to this team that we talking about. A lot of people talking about we got injuries and we don't have talent. Let's give it to these guys are playing good football. Some of these guys, as you said, oh man, we need a draft pick. We need to get a free agent. Some of these guys are playing really good football, and they're collectively playing good in some of the parts, and that's what's being different from here. So let's don't give too much credit to the coaches, but let's understand that coaches, they got a good mentality going on in that defense, and they're really playing together, and I like that.
Yeah. To me, I would also say, my play of the game, it's tough. As of right now, I would say Donovan Wilson. Because, see, Jordan Lewis made a last-minute late surge, though. You know what I mean? See, Jordan Lewis, he might have something to say about that. So, but I think I have to give Donovan Wilson credit and Zimmer credit because I think it is what Coach said, where we got to be careful where we don't give coaches all the credit. I do want to give Zimmer some credit because I believe that he put Donovan Wilson more as a box player and a blitzing safety. And that has changed and brought Donovan Wilson, in my opinion, back to the Donovan Wilson that we all fell in love with. That guy that's just a playmaker and a terrorist behind the scenes. But Jordan Lewis, especially with that last pick, And I also would say this too, talking about like the defense, because the defense is absolutely the standout. If I was to say another thing about the coaching mixed with the playmaking, I will say that I was happy to see for the first time that they challenged the run Bland to go at the number one and the top threat, Mike Evans. I wasn't expecting that. So that's a good chess move by Zimmer mixed with the playmaking of Bland that kind of put it all together. So I just love how I'm seeing just team overall from Zimmer. Like it's the playmaking of the guys, but it's also him putting them in the best positions. So what's y'all thoughts on that as we try to figure out? Because I'm saying Donovan Wilson early, but I think these guys also made a late push to being potential stars. And since you came up with the STAR acronym, Coach, I want to hear from you on this.
Yeah, and I don't know if people remember this, and I'm glad you said something about Jordan Lewis and Donovan Wilson. I don't think people remember last year, and Boss, I don't know if you remember, and I said in the last part of last year that the two guys is going to have to make plays because they are playmakers was always Jordan Lewis and Donovan Wilson. If getting turnovers, and at the end of the last year, Both of them were getting turnovers. Both of those guys. Those guys are playmakers, man. They get turnovers. They are one of the ones, and I knew that Donald and Jordan Lewis had to be those guys that can make some plays and get interceptions and stuff like that, because they go on spurts. But I also want to say that the turnovers with this Cowboy team, let's not forget, Quinn set that tone with this defense. Yeah, because before Quinn, they was and they have kept that tone of being ball magnets. So this tone that they have is they got that, and this is what I'm saying to y'all about your mentality. If you teach them with a mentality when they're young, they keep that mentality as their whole career.
Facts.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you give us a lazy mentality, you could ruin a football player. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I say, when you got a young team, you need to be and guess what? And I'm gonna find the interview, but Zimmer said the exact same thing about you harder on guys when they're young.
He did,
because you don't want them to build bad habits.
I got it.
And this is what I'm saying with this team, right? And see, that's what I'm saying. I just don't want the mentality of this team. And as we look forward, I like to see where they're playing harder. But I would tell you this: the next two games is going to be very pivotal to where I think they're at, because I think, much as we talk about Philly is going to be playing for something big, because they're playing to try to win the division.
Yeah.
And they're playing to still try to get the first seed. So they're going to be playing hard, and they're a really good football team. They might have lost today, but they're a really good football team. I'm not just being honest. And Washington is going to be a bigger game at the end of the season, because they're fighting. So those are division games. So this is where you want to see if we can play hard in these next games. But we are building something with these guys. But I just think sometimes when we get in, we just too comfortable. And sometimes that's why we slack up sometimes, because we need to be comfortable. And I just need this team to be uncomfortable a little bit.
I'm finna throw a curveball at you, big dog.
All right, go.
Did this game expose Rico, or was he put in a bad situation from play calling? Because that's going to be the narrative, right? Because most people have been saying this is Rico's first test, right? Mm-hmm. He been going against weaker fronts. That's why his average has been so high.
So
that's what they've been saying. So
yeah, I think Rico is who Rico is. I think we know who Rico is. We know he is not the best thing since sliced bread. Serviceable is a word that I would use to describe him. He's right up there with your starters of the league. He could be a blue collar running back one, if you will, next year. But if running is going to be a focal point for us, I want to see us strengthen that room and use some draft stock to continue to improve that room. Because guess what? Whether Rico is the lead or the second runner-up, if you will, as far as the tandem is concerned. However, I think we all will agree that you need two solid backs.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate the way this game kind of unfolded. We got away from it early, and he never could get into a flow, into a rhythm.
Yeah.
I think your offensive line tonight wasn't too sure of themselves as well either. I've seen them play better. So I don't know what their situation was, but Rico, to me, I asked you at some point in the game, I said he looked like he seemed to be hesitant a little too much. Like, I wanted him to see and go. Go. And I think he was waiting for it to open up a little bit more than what it was. And I think he was just trying to press a little too much instead of just going to get those yards while they were there available before that hole closed up. But again, he'll be serviceable, but I'm still investing in that room. Tonight does not change my opinion about how I felt about Rico Dotto.
Yeah,
he's still solid in my opinion.
I agree, and in my opinion, I blame Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
I blame Mike McCarthy. Like 13 carries, especially we was keeping up with it from the beginning. He started out throwing. The only thing is that throwing was working. It was working in the first half. It worked better in the first half than I've seen it all season. You know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it was what Coach Marv said, and you started to see it. Coach Marv said, but is it sustainable? So what started to happen in the second half? Hold on, y'all. And so when you needed Rico, you never even gave Rico, in my opinion, the attempts to really get him in at the offensive line going. But guess who gonna likely get blamed? Rico. Just me, just keeping it real. I think Mike McCarthy called a bad game for Rico. Straight up.
Yeah.
Can I say something about that? I heard some people talking about this is going to be a test for Rico. That's got to be the most asinine statement ever. To run the football, this is a test for your whole running team.
Right.
Your line.
That's more balanced.
Your tight ends.
Yeah.
Because running the football is
Ain't
not
just
the
the
running
back.
back.
Right.
I think we think is the running
we
back.
think it's just the
so
back.
This here. I'll put it like this. Barkley is having a great year.
Hold on, Coach. I don't mean to cut you off. We just got 2 super chats. Don't forget your point. He just said, my answer is both. My boy Weewoo said, and then Coach Q said, exposed him to people who don't know. Film will show vision issues for the backside. He don't have top speed, topping speed on the outside. Need a 6'2", 220, 4-3 down running back. Go ahead, Coach. Good super chat.
Okay. I understand what they're saying. Everybody would tell me this. Barkley is having a great year. He's had one of the historical years. The game before this game, he had 52 yards, 49 yards. Because Philadelphia line got beat up front. They lost the battle. It takes some of
the
that
unit,
and there was no real clear lanes for Rico. He was not getting to the line of scrimmage where in these games before he was getting there and he was getting in the line of scrimmage where he can make moves. Yeah. Tampa Bay did a great job of doing closing the rundown. That's what they've been doing all year. And listen, and again, I don't think we got real creative in the run game. We didn't have any toss sweeps. We didn't run anything outside. In those 13 carries, he may have ran, out of 13 carries, he might have ran the same run play 10 of the 13 times. So if you don't know creativity in it, you're not committed to it for a consistent basis, and then you getting beat somewhat up front, that's going to make it bad for a run game to go. I watched the great, man. I watched the greatest of all time, with a Russian leader of all time, Emmitt Smith. I've seen sometimes where it was hard sledding. They just don't get it twisted that every time he came out there, he was getting open lanes and he could just run the ball over everybody. There was some time where that was not because of all the Emmitt. It's because they did a good job on us. And I think what our run game is I still don't think that we have a belief.
No, we don't.
As a offense.
And
that we got to do this well.
Yeah.
I don't think we can impose our will on people because it's not our belief.
Right.
Once it becomes our belief,
yeah,
we'll be able to impose our will on any team.
Right.
But it's not.
It's not. It's not.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's a it does good. Yeah, we good. Yeah, that's good. But that's not our belief. Because let's think about it. If you pass the ball, if that was the case, when teams when they get incompletions and they don't get no passes, do they stop passing the ball?
No,
they don't.
Right, exactly. They stick with it because they believe in it. Hold on, we got us a $10 super cat. Exactly, Coach. They stick with the well said, Coach. Hold on. We got us a $10 super chat. He said, in the beginning of the season, we were losing games and felt like we were cursed. Are we still cursed now that we're winning games and getting in worse draft position? We was never cursed, bro. In my opinion, it feel cursed, but we done did all the curse breaking things. We done put Jimmy Johnson in the ring of honor. I think we making our own luck. I think a lot of these injuries got to do with our strength and conditioning programs, our conditioning. I think it got to do with that type of stuff more than it has to do with cursing. I think we've been healthy over the last
Being in
3 years,
Oxnard too
being in
long.
Oxnard too long, stuff like that. What's your thoughts on that, Amp?
Yeah, I honestly believe that it is pushing forward the narrative of the lackadaisical type training camp, like the country club training camp. It's cool. I understand you're reaching a whole nother, part of the fan base, the California. I know they deep out there. I know it's heavy cowboy land. I get it. I know it's a lot of support. But maybe give Oxnard like 2 weeks and then get back to business at Frisco. I just find it a weird coincidence that in the year that you spent the most time in California is a year where you experienced the most traumatic injury bug in the history of the NFL. I swear. At least that's what it felt like to me. It was
did.
just
It felt
week
like
after
that.
week. It was starter after starter.
Yeah.
Like it just
all pro after all pro. Yeah, it was.
That's not by accident, y'all. There's a reason for it. But that's got to change. It has to change, dog.
And then we gonna only take a few more topics tonight because you tired, Amp. I can tell he's on a different time zone. He fighting it through. He thugging it through. We finna get him out of here, man. They been soldiering all day, so I ain't gonna definitely, I appreciate y'all greatly for what y'all doing. So let me get a couple of more super chats and topics in here. We gonna get up out of here. But he said, my boy Coach said, I'm sorry, pre-injury polish shows you what a top-end running back can do with a running scheme. Facts. I can call in to expound if you wanted to at running back. I got to fix the phones, and I'm going to fix the phones by tomorrow, man, so I can get y'all calls in here. But I definitely agree with you on that, for sure. And I know we going to do something about running back this year in the draft or free agency. We ain't going to leave that hanging.
It's too much noise.
It's too much noise on it, absolutely. The person to me, oh, my God. See, Coach said something in the watch part I hope people caught. As much as I love Eric Kendricks, he might be a project stopper. I'm serious. I'm not starting to like Louis Fowl. I'm starting to love. Woo-wee. He's starting to give me them Overshawn vibes. Ooh. And see, Overshawn was like, he was shining so bright that his light was almost dimming the light of Louis Fowl. So with the absence of Overshawn, it's like now you can really see Morris. And Morris is looking good to me. And this dude is a rookie, man. Yeah, Eric, as much as I like Eric and his courage and everything about him and what he brought, this guy to me need to be your green dot middle linebacker next year.
And I listen, and I think he's and I was right when I say my man would be a progress stop. Now,
yeah, you're right.
That's all progress because we got to bring back my man. My man Overshawn is gonna come back, and it may not be at the beginning of the year. So I think if you had to bring chemistry, I think you should draft another linebacker in this draft.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely think you need to draft another linebacker because you dynamic linebackers on all the great defenses out here got dynamic linebackers, and everybody, that's another myth that everybody talk about. Oh, linebackers ain't important. All the great defenses got dynamic linebackers. So we can talk all this crazy stuff, but the teams that got the best defenses got dynamic linebackers. So and they can make plays all over the field. So like I said, man, we need to draft it. But if you're not going to get another dynamic linebacker, you might need to bring back my man because Overshawn might not be ready till mid-season. But once Overshawn is ready, Kendrick's going to be on the sideline because we got to allow those two guys to grow together and be a duo for a long time. I think they can really grow together. Again, I'm going to still hop on the fact that I would love to see Parson play some more. I just think he'll just be dynamic. I think he'll be able to make even more plays from that, and he will sack the quarterback the same amount, but he'll just be a terror. Hopefully, that'll happen. But yeah, that's the problem. But I also want to put out one other person, and you may not have his picture up there.
Yeah.
But number 94 is showing me a
Marshawn
lot. Marjon Leader is showing me a great deal. And this is what I like about him. He went down with an injury, and he came back, and he's playing exceptional. And I think we got a diamond in the rough with that. Man, listen, man. Man, you bring the right coaching staff in here, man, that really is focused and the top, and they get the best coaching staff that money can buy. Put that along with what Will McClay does as a scouting staff, and you put Andy Reid, a coaching staff in here, man, we'll have a dynasty. Put a garbage coaching staff in here, we'll be talking. We'll be we won't get what we should get. We won't get the maximum out of what this man has done for this organization. Man, this guy is finding. I'm telling you, man, if they even hint to let Will McClay go, every team in this league will be out there getting it.
Everybody, Coach. Because, see, Micah Parsons, everybody trolled him when he said this was a good team. But, see, this is not a little thing to beat a hungry, needing to win Tampa with basically backups.
Yep. I love it, man.
You beat
the future is bright.
Yeah, the future looking.
Like, when we drafted Nealon, that was the one thing that excited me about it. And my first real raw, in real time, my reaction was, man, this is going to free up Micah Parsons. Like, Sam Williams by himself was going to free up Micah, but Nealon just takes it to another level. And honestly and truthfully, like, it would be nice to have D-Law in the building, and, as far as his leadership is concerned. But we don't need D-Law. It would be nice to have D-Law, but we don't need
D-Law.
D-Law.
I agree.
Once upon a time, we needed D-Law. I think we've developed enough young talent to where you don't need him. This season has shown you don't need him.
D-Law. I agree, bro. He said, how do you feel about Flournoy, boss? I just love the reps that these young guys are getting, man. I think, listen, I got to say this openly. I was about 6 weeks ago, when it was showing a 1% chance, saying, especially when it looked like we could have been in the top 3 position, where I know people was going to be willing to trade. I was thinking then that would have been a good time for us to tank. But I have to admit I was wrong. I like the direction that everybody went and really stand with the wins. I like the culture that I'm seeing. I like the character and I will admit I was wrong. Front office them, in my opinion, was right for sticking it out. And the team was right for sticking it out and fighting it through. Because to your question about Flournoy, you are seeing a lot of development of these young guys that's going to pay all kind of dividends into the future. There's no way you can look at how Morris is playing, Flournoy is playing, these other young players are playing and winning and thinking this is not going to be in their memory bank, right? When they need to draw on these tough moments right now is going to come back. So now I was wrong about even a thought of tank 6 weeks ago, in my opinion. I think right now, I would rather be exactly what we doing right now.
Boss, let me say something to double down on Coach's point. He was talking about going forward in the type of coaching you'll have in here, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have the right coaches in here with these players, the type of difference it'll make, right? But I want y'all to understand this and look at this. Look at the beauty of this. This time next season, your Dallas Cowboys will be one of the youngest teams in the NFL, but also one of the deepest teams in the NFL.
Facts.
Like, I want y'all to understand what took place this season.
Yeah.
How in any other format or any other series of scenarios would you have the opportunity to get this much experience to your young talent?
Yeah.
Like, it may be a blessing in disguise at the fact that we had all of these injuries to bring all of this young talent up to a much higher level that much faster in the course of one season. You wasn't going to do that in August. It wasn't going to happen.
So listen, y'all.
Hey, can I piggyback on something, boss? And I think I need to say this. And I want y'all to follow me on this. Let's look at this. Let's remember a story when we talk about what the leadership of this team is. Tony Dungy, I really love Tony Dungy as a football coach. But he had taken Tampa as far as he could take them, and the voice needed to be changed, and they needed to be uncomfortable. The same thing with Indianapolis. They needed the uncomfortable of Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy had a team that went to NFC championships and couldn't get them over. They brought John Gruden, and he came in there with a team that had talent and made them uncomfortable. And they won a Super Bowl. Tony Dungy went to Indianapolis and made them uncomfortable with the Peyton Manning, that different voice, that uncomfortable voice, and they won a Super Bowl. It's time. We got too much talent that we've been listening to the same voice. It's time to bring another voice in here to make us uncomfortable and get this talent over the hump.
Who would that be?
It could be Mike Vrabel.
Think Mike Vrabel.
It could be Mike Vrabel. It could be a host of people, because I think this team needs a new voice to be uncomfortable. And I think they done got too comfortable. And yes, they're playing for him because they're comfortable with him. But to get over the hump with this talent and this young talent, they got to get uncomfortable, because if they get over, you got to think about it, man. The Cowboys, and I hate to say it, and this is when any winning teams, Andy Reid makes it uncomfortable for the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's where they got to where they at.
So, Coach, this is the only problem I have with what you're saying. It's only one. This right now, only one. It's the risk of losing Zimmer now. That's my only concern now, Coach. You know what I mean? I feel you on Mike McCarthy. Like, Mike McCarthy with that scary ass play calling, pass happy, all that. That's very agitating. But I'm also honest enough to say that Zimmer is right now protecting him. He's the reason Mike McCarthy likely go stay. Are you willing to lose all the massive momentum that you're seeing with Zimmer?
Yeah, I mean,
for Mike McCarthy.
There's some other people.
So you feel good about that?
Just the same way, man. I mean, yeah.
You think so?
I'm not gonna say Zimmer is the greatest state defensive coordinator, that it couldn't be done by some other places. But if you do bring a head coach, if Mike McCarthy is not here, you cannot bring a head coach in here and say, hey, this got to be your defense coordinator.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You, man,
that's what I'm saying. That's the only problem I have with it. Because if Zimmer is like this now, what is he gonna be like next year? What is he gonna be like when all the guys are healthy? Like, this whole year, he been doing patchwork.
I understand what you're saying, boss, but I can tell you this: whatever this team is, the sloppiness of this team, sometimes sometimes we see you got to take the season as a whole, not just for a few games. They're a reflection of Mike McCarthy, and I don't care what you say, your team is going to be a reflection of your head coach. And I think somewhere down the line, that's going to run ragged with December.
Yeah. So, all right, y'all. I'm tired.
Man,
y'all tired.
You got to deal with it now. He on a 1-year contract. He ain't got no choice.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just tough. Like, I want, I want to look at Vrabel and his staff and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely agree with you. I would want a defensive head coach. I would, with this team, with a good OC. That's what I would want. So let's give our final words, man. Let's get up out of here. Start with you, Coach.
Man, like I said, man, great victory, man. I always love to have a victory. Um, uh, you know, I'm not worried. You know, I think, man, we talk about scenarios and everything, man, but only thing I'm care about, man, is hearing that song saying "We Are the Champions" come around again, because I have lived through just about all of them. I was a little boy, but I heard that song from all our championships, and I love to hearing that song that "We Are the Champions," and that's what I'm looking for. So, coach don't get involved about what Michael Parsons' contract gonna be and all that, because at the end of the day, I want these guys to make whatever they want they can make, but at the end of the day, I want to win, and that's the bottom line to it. I want to win, and I also understand sometimes winning you're not gonna have the shiniest car sometime to be the champion car. So it's sometimes hard to have both, the bling and the champion. So I'm just trying to get to that championship. I just like to, every time we win on this show, I'm happy. That's good for us to win. Let's go to the next game, and we just hope our guys play hard. It may be ugly, but I'm glad they win in ugly games. And I'm glad that we learned how to win games, and we ain't got the conversation about what Dak Prescott did. We find that we can win games, and I hope Dak Prescott is seeing that up there, and I hope he takes the pressure off him and say, hey man, we can win games ugly, and damn what people saying about me.
Right.
And I hope our fan base get that way, because we don't want to win. But thanks, man, boss, for the thing, man. A.M.P, everybody, man. Go Cowboys. We got a victory under our belt again this week.
Let's get it. All right, and so for my final words, man, you know, this stream is brought to you by BetUS, where you can receive 150% bonus on your first 2 deposits and 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to $2,000 with the promo code YouTube 150. And I'm very happy to hear that a lot of y'all made some money. I was loving to see that in the chat today. That was funny. This is the thing. I still believe that the future of Mike McCarthy and Zimmer is going to depend on how we finish. I really do. This is a good win, but I don't think it's safe for any one of them yet, to be honest. Because I think the end of the season is just like the end of games. It's what we remember. What really sealed Dez's fate was how he acted the Seattle game. Y'all remember that? It was the end of the season, and people was trying to decide, was he worthy to stay or not, and he had a tantrum. And with those tantrums, he also had some ball drops. And that's the last thing that people remembered. I think it's going to be also the same way with Mike McCarthy and Zimmer as we are getting to the very end of the season. The way that they finish is going to determine. Mike McCarthy almost lost his own job today. Zimmer saved his ass. Like for real. Because the pressure was going to heat up on him because of the 3 and outs and all that stuff that was starting to happen at the very end of that game. And Zimmer, with those turnovers, and the players with their playmaking, is what pulled it out. So guess what? You're not going to hear the calls this week. But it could happen. So I think it's what Keystone said. It's going to be about how we finish, you know. And it's good, though, to see that these young guys are stepping up. I'm super happy to see it. It gives me hope in the future. I know a lot of Cowboy Nation is upset, you know, and don't feel good about the future. I'm starting to feel better and better because these are tough wins. This was a tough game. Tampa needed this win. They was trying to fight to win a division. They gave us their best shot. And we beat that team, and we didn't even need, and we knew we was out the playoffs. I love it. That's my final word. I love where we are.
Your best shot. They gave it to us.
Yep.
We jumped out early, and you heard Coach Marv say it during the broadcast. He said this is a resilient team. They don't go away easy. And guess what? You answered. Your team answered. And then guess what? The Bucs answered again. And they said, damn it, we ain't going away. and your Cowboys continue to fight. That's what I'm most proud of today. Yes, I appreciated the effort in the game that we got from Donovan Wilson. Yes, I appreciate the game that we got from Jordan Lewis. Yes, I appreciate the game that we got from Cooper Rush. Those guys that I just mentioned made some incredible plays today. But as a team overall, as a whole, I saw a group of individuals. I saw a group of men. I didn't see boys. And see, that's it. That's the story. See, what you were witnessing, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, what you were witnessing is you were witnessing this team mature from boys to men.
Facts.
We're a very young team, but these guys have earned some key reps this season. This is what you call stripes. They earned some stripes this year.
They did.
Very early. A lot of teams don't have the benefit of this. They don't have the benefit of being able to trust a young player well enough to even put him in the game. And not only do we put them in the game, but we put them in the game and we put them in positions to be successful. Maris Leofow, the future is bright. Hell, Nick Vigil, the future is bright. Marshawn Nealon, the future is bright. So again, with all this new young budding talent, as we have been stating for a couple of weeks now, this budding, look, y'all, if you look at the landscape of our team over the last couple of years, we got some flowers. I mean, some beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
But it's in pockets. It's a bud here, it's a bud there, it's a bud here, it's a bud there. The bouquet that we gonna have next year, full of buds. Let the injury bug hit us next year. We won't flinch.
We won't flinch.
This is a testament to the draft and develop model that your team practices. But guess what? As much as we love that draft and develop, we got to tweak it a little bit. Because to prevent us from being where we are currently, if we take the other aspect of this whole philosophy a little bit more serious, and that's free agency, imagine where this team could be. One or two more key tweaks, just a few more dollars, as the pastor would say, if Stephen Jones will reach down in his pocket just a little bit deeper and pull out another bill, we might be hosting another trophy. But hey, good, better, best, never let it rest. Till your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Cowboys Nation, until next time, y'all have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and y'all be blessed.
Man, and this stream was brought to you by BetUS. 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two deposits up to 2,000. Promo code U2 150. That was the post game. We'll be back.
Yeah, man. Happy Merry Christmas, everyone, man.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Coach.